going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound, where we're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Saturday, October 14th, 2023. Before we get into it, though, if you like this content, make sure you drop a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my daily $19 best bet and my NHL power play, make sure you head to Pickdawgz.com and click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. First game on Saturday takes us to the Canadian Tire Center, where the Ottawa Senators take on the Philadelphia Flyers. And both these teams had different starts to their season. Philadelphia picking up a 4-2 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets, while Ottawa fell short against Carolina 5-3. But I'm not holding that loss against Ottawa. I was on Carolina in that game, and I thought that was just a bad spot for the Sens on the road in a tough environment in Carolina. But I think they're going to be all right going back home here. They were really good at home last season, picking up 24 wins in 41 home games, and really just taking care of business on home ice. And it's where this young team is probably going to be comfortable playing a lot of their hockey this season in front of their home fans. The Philadelphia Flyers, they got the win over Columbus, but I'm not really investing too much stock into that. That says more about Columbus and how wrong I was about that team early on this season. I think Ottawa takes care of business at home. Don't love this price, so I'm going to take Ottawa in regulation to get the price down to minus 115 from the Canadian Tire Center. Next, we head to the Canada Life Center as the Winnipeg Jets host the Florida Panthers. Neither one of these teams getting off to the best start to the year, with Florida taking that 2-0 loss to the Minnesota Wild, and Winnipeg falling in Calgary 5-3. But I still think this is going to be a battle between the goaltenders once again. I think a lot of Florida games will be this season. As long as we see Sergei Bobrovsky, I got hosed with that Washington game, thinking it was going to be Darcy Kemper on Friday, and it was Charlie Lindgren. So always make sure you're checking the starting goalie reports. But I'm anticipating a matchup between Connor Hellebuyck and Sergei Bobrovsky, and I've said it before with both these guys. These are goalies that can stand on their heads and single-handedly steal a game for their team. We saw Bobrovsky do it a lot in the playoffs. And we haven't seen the Florida Panthers offense get going yet. Don't know if it's going to happen against Hellebuyck. And same thing can be said for the Jets against Sergei Bobrovsky. So I'm going to go with the under 6.5. I know the over a profitable trend between these two teams, but I'm going to go a little bit contrarian here and take the under 6.5. Next, we head to the TD Garden, where the Boston Bruins host the Nashville Predators. And Boston, business as usual, picking up a win on home ice last time out. 3-1 over the Blackhawks, while the Preds ended up knocking off the Seattle Kraken to get their first win of the season. But here's the problem. Nashville last year, just a different team away from Bridgestone Arena. And I think that's going to be more of the same here, especially going into Boston in one of the tougher road environments in the NHL, if not the toughest. Boston was the best home team in the NHL last season. And for me, it's probably going to be more of the same. I'm just going to try to keep finding ways to back the Boston Bruins at home. And any way I can sort of bring the price down, because they're going to be hefty favorites on home ice all year long. So, if you want to take them on the puck line, you could do that here, because I just don't know if Nashville's lack of scoring is going to bode well for them here. They did get 3 goals past the Kraken, and thankfully the goaltending stood up for the Preds there. Don't know if it's going to happen in Beantown. I like Boston to win this one in regulation at minus 115. You'd probably take a puck line to get maybe even or plus money, but Bruins in regulation is going to be my play here. Up next, we head to Madison Square Garden, where the New York Rangers take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. And the New York Rangers getting off to a strong start to the year with a 5-1 road win over the Buffalo Sabres, while the Columbus Blue Jackets came out flat in a 4-2 loss to the Philadelphia Flyers. And man, I'm not jumping off the Blue Jackets. I'm not even saying I was on the Blue Jackets to begin with, but I'm not completely writing off the Blue Jackets after one game. But man, they're going to need to earn my backing, because didn't look good in that game against the Philadelphia Flyers team I'm really not all that high on either. While the Rangers went out on the road and just absolutely demolished a solid Buffalo Sabres team that barely missed out on the postseason last year. I think this Rangers team is going to be a team that you really have to watch out for throughout the season and come playoff time. I think this could be definitely a team that fights for and probably is in contention to win the Metropolitan Division. The last 3 meetings last year, New York won handily, all on the puck line by a combined score of 13-3. See no reason to stray from that here. I'm going to take the Rangers on the puck line in this one. Next, we head to the Little Caesars Arena, where the Detroit Red Wings take on the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Tampa Bay Lightning getting off to a very, very good start to the year, taking out the Nashville Predators 5-3 on home ice, while Detroit fell short in a 4-3 loss to the New Jersey Devils. Did get the cover on the +1.5, but still managed to fall short where it really matters in the final score. But as far as this game goes, I'm still not sold on the goaltending on either side, and I'm not going to be for the Lightning until you get Andrei Vasilevsky back between the pipes for the Bolts. On the other side, still not there with Ville Husso either for the Red Wings. So I think we are going to see some goals in this one. Like I said, it wasn't high on the Lightning and their goaltending situation, but they still managed to do the heavy lifting with the offense. They scored 5 goals in that game against Nashville. Could see a similar output here, maybe 3, 4, maybe 5 goals again. And I think the Red Wings can pot a couple as well. I like the over 6.5 here. I lean towards the Lightning for the side, though. Again, didn't have much confidence in the goaltending, but they still came through against Nashville. So give me the over 6.5 with a lean towards the Lightning on the money line. Next, we head to the Bell Center where the Montreal Canadiens take on the Chicago Blackhawks. And Montreal, well, they had a decent performance against the Toronto Maple Leafs, but the reason was only decent was because they had a 5-3 lead in the third period and did old school Montreal things. They let one slip away as Toronto ended up winning that game in a shootout. And I'm still not all that sold on Montreal going forward. This might be a Montreal team that looks very similar to the one that ended up high in the draft lottery a couple of seasons ago. For me, Jake Allen is just not a number one goaltender in the NHL. Sam Montembeault, not much of an answer either. The Chicago Blackhawks, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to probably be high very often on this Blackhawks team this season. It's going to be a year of development, I think, especially for guys like Connor Bedard. But the Blackhawks have been decent through their first couple of games. Peter Mrazek gave up 2 goals in that win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Then they got a nice performance out of Arvid Soderblom, albeit in a losing effort against the Bruins. I think if you can hang tight against the Bruins and you can beat the Penguins, you surely can beat the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to take a shot on the value here with the Blackhawks at +120. Next, we head to the PPG Paints Arena where the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Calgary Flames. And the Pittsburgh Penguins on the back-to-back here, having beaten the Washington Capitals on Friday. I was on the Caps in that one. Did not know it was going to be Charlie Lindgren that was going to get the start. I thought it was Darcy Kemper, but Kemper attending to the birth of his child. So, Penguins took advantage of a backup goaltender. Don't know if they're going to have that luxury here, though. I mean, this is a Penguins team that's historically, at least going back to last year, struggled on the second half of a back-to-back. They just have not performed well on no rest. Just 5-11 in their last 16 games played on no rest, and 6-21 with a team in their last 27 against a team with a winning percentage above 600. I know we're only one game into the season, but trends like that still stand out, especially against the better teams that you're going to play. Alex Nedeljkovic looks to be the goalie for the Penguins here. He's going to be a career backup. I just have a feeling, as we sort of move forward throughout the years. The Calgary Flames, not a team I was backing all that often this season. Sometimes I was just fading them out of spite, but they did look pretty good in the opener, beating the Winnipeg Jets. I think we're getting the better price with the team just in better form right now. I'm not looking to back the Penguins on no rest. So give me the Calgary Flames at the near coin flip price in this one. Next, we head to Scotiabank Arena as the Toronto Maple Leafs take on the Minnesota Wild, and it was a entertaining matchup for the Toronto Maple Leafs, to say the least. In their openers, they won 6-5 over Montreal, but there were some glaring defensive issues that, it's only one game, but it's still, as a Leafs fan, I will tell you those issues are concerning. But like I said, in that wraparound, the Maple Leafs always have issues with Montreal early in the season. Maybe they'll get a more convincing win later on in the year, but they're going to have their hands full in this one. Against a Minnesota Wild team that is disciplined, they play solid physical hockey without getting themselves into too much trouble, and they have some solid goaltending as well. And last time these two teams met, actually both times these two teams met last season, they were 1-goal games. Toronto won both, but they won the one in Minnesota 4-3, and the return matchup in Toronto, it was 2-1 in overtime. I think we have some solid goaltending here for the Wild. Wouldn't surprise me if the Leafs won again, but I don't know if I want to jump to back the Leafs here. And like I said, I don't know if I want to jump to back them in regulation either. I think there's value here with the Wild, plus the 1.5. Might sprinkle a little bit on the money line as well. Next, we head to the UBS Arena where the New York Islanders finally make their season debut, taking on the Buffalo Sabres, a Sabres team that just did not have the greatest start to the year with a 5-1 loss to the New York Rangers last time out. Now, the New York Islanders, well, they're pretty much running it back with what they had last year. There wasn't a whole lot done in the offseason in terms of bringing in new and fresh talent. It was more just extending a lot of the key pieces that you have going forward, especially Ilya Sorokin, who was the big reason why the Islanders had as much success as they did last season. I think he was personally responsible for maybe 15 or 20 of their wins single-handedly. I mean, this guy can stand on his head. And, I think that that's what we're going to see more of here. The Buffalo Sabres were a team that won a lot of games on the road last season. That's why they had as much success as they did. It went 25-13-3 on the road last season. But just looking up and down this roster, the forwards are great. The defense is solid. The defense, I'm just not sure. I don't like Luukkonen. I'm not high on Devin Levy or Eric Comrie at all. I think that the Islanders have a decisive goaltending edge here. And I think they can make life miserable for the Sabres. The Islanders have a way of making these games chippy and physical and making teams grind it out. And I think that the Sabres might be in some trouble through the first couple games. I'm going to take the New York Islanders on the money line in this one. Next, we head to the Enterprise Center where the St. Louis Blues take on the Seattle Kraken. And neither one of these teams have gotten off to the start that they've wanted to say the least. I mean, the Blues took a 2-1 loss in a shootout to the Dallas Stars. On the other side, the Kraken 0-2 on the year after their 3-0 loss to the Nashville Predators. But the thing that stands out for me, the Blues took on the Dallas Stars on the road, and that Dallas Stars team is going to be tough this season. And I had that on our premium section as the under in that game because I think it's 25 of the last 30 meetings between the Blues and Stars have gone under the total. I think they've seen 6 goals or less. That was always going to be a defensive battle. Not holding that against the St. Louis Blues. The Seattle Kraken just have not been able to figure it out. They have not had the same success on the road that they did to start last season. I think the St. Louis Blues getting back home here will be able to do enough to pull out the victory in this one. I could see an under here as well, maybe a 3-2 kind of game. But I'm going to take the St. Louis Blues on the money line at the coin flip price here. Next, we head to the SAP Center where the San Jose Sharks host the Colorado Avalanche. And the Colorado Avalanche picking up right where they left off with a 5-2 win over the Los Angeles Kings, really taking no prisoners in that one, while the San Jose Sharks, doing San Jose Sharks things as to be expected, getting their teeth kicked in 4-1 by the Vegas Golden Knights in their opener. And, head-to-head, this is a matchup that the Colorado Avalanche have owned in recent years, winning 17 of the last 22 meetings. They've lost 25 of the last 34 in San Jose, but a lot of those came when the San Jose Sharks were a much better team than they are right now. I think the Avs are just the far superior team. I was concerned we were going to get a bit of a backup goalie situation here for the Avalanche against the Sharks, but I am seeing Alex Georgiev listed as the starter here. So I with their number one in goal and the Avs just looking like the far better team, got to take the Avalanche on the puck line in this one. Now we head to T-Mobile Arena where the Vegas Golden Knights host the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks, one of the final teams to, actually I should say the final team to get their season underway on Saturday. Now the Vegas Golden Knights, they came in and they just ran roughshod over the San Jose Sharks in their opener. And the Anaheim Ducks, I don't know if they're going to really provide a whole lot of pushback here. Sure, they've made some moves in the offseason. They brought in some glue guys that are going to help. Guys like Alex Stalock is a backup goaltender. Radko Gudas, Alex Killorn was a nice pickup from the Tampa Bay Lightning, going to provide some winning pedigree and some grit while being able to provide some goal scoring ability as well. But I just don't think that the Anaheim Ducks are there yet. They've got a nice young core of players, but this is just a bad spot for them to try to step up. And there will be value with the Ducks down the road, and there's always going to be value worth at least looking at when you're getting a team at plus 275. But the Vegas Golden Knights are just on another level right now. I think they're going to take no prisoners through the first few games of the season. I'm taking the Vegas Golden Knights on the puck line in this one. Next, we head to Rogers Place, where the Edmonton Oilers take on the Vancouver Canucks in a rematch from opening night. A game the Edmonton Oilers lost 8-1. I'll tell you, I knew that I had some question marks about Edmonton's goaltending. I had a feeling it was going to be shaky in spots. Didn't think it was going to be like that from the opening puck drop, as Vancouver just hopped all over the Oilers in that game. Do I expect a bounce back performance, a bit of a response? Sure, from the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, you're not going to stay sitting down, especially in game 2 of a season after you get humiliated in your opener. But fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not gonna fall into the same trap with the Oilers. They got to earn my trust back after that performance, and just I have a feeling I'm gonna have a hard time trusting the Oilers for much of the season with Stuart Skinner and Jack Campbell as the goaltenders there. Vancouver Canucks, they got a young core. They're going to be able to chip in some goals here as well. I think over 6.5 too. I'm surprised this total didn't stay around 7, even move up to 7.5. I think we're going to have over exaggerations like that early in the season. But for me right now, sticking with the over 6.5 in this one. And our final game on the board takes us to the Crypto.com arena, where the Los Angeles Kings host the Carolina Hurricanes. And the Los Angeles Kings just, couldn't get it done against the Colorado Avalanche in their opener. On the Carolina Hurricanes took care of Ottawa at home. Now, don't get me wrong, the Carolina Hurricanes, not as strong of a team on the road as they were at home last season, but don't get it twisted. They were still solid on the road last year, 24-11-6 away from the PNC Arena. Now the Kings, they had a solid home record last year, but I said it in that game against the Avalanche. I'm not sold on the Kings and their goaltending right now. They still have a nice roster of pieces, but again, I'm not there with the Los Angeles Kings. And right now, we're getting discounted prices. I think people are hanging on to the Kings of last year. I think the Hurricanes are just a far more complete, the far better team coming into this game. I'm going to take the Hurricanes at the discounted price to round things out. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Saturday, October 14th, 2023. Now, if you like this video, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, make sure you have notifications turned on to get the newest and most up-to-date content here at Pick Dawgz. A reminder, if you're looking for my best bets, check out Pick Dawgz Premium and let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Good luck.